Okay, it's Bert and Toby here to discuss UFC 250 Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. Bert, are you pumped for this one?
I'm stoked. Let's go for it.
Go for it. Okay, let's have a chat first of all about Stipe. He's had a record of 20-3. He fought Cormier a few times since he's fought Ngannou. He's 38 years old, 233 pounds, 106 kilos, 6'4", 80-inch reach. He's a paramedic and firefighter. He's Croatian. This adds a bit to it. Croatians are fiery. Around my way, we know you don't mess with Croatians. He's been doing MMA for a long time. Previously was a Cleveland Golden Gloves champ and also an NCAA Division I wrestler, wrestling through high school, etc. up to that point. He's beaten some great guys. He beat Cormier twice. He beat Overeem, JDS, Verdum, Hunt, etc. So he's a beast. Okay, so now let's just have a look at different aspects of Stipe's game. The first part we're going to look at is boxing and stand-up. Now, in the first fight with Ngannou, you could see he had a very good head movement, very good movement in and out, and he used angles as well. This is something that Ngannou doesn't really have. He seems like more of a brawler, straight line fighter. These days, he's matured a little bit in his stand-up. He likes to kind of just back on the outside, and then he moves in a little bit more patient, slightly more patient than before. But he still doesn't use angles. He still doesn't seem to have the same sort of skill set as Stipe has. The other thing that Stipe also had in that first fight was great distance management. You can see him staying just outside of the punches, using his head movement to just stay out of sight of these big shots that were coming. He's also a big hitter. So Stipe doesn't look like such a big hitter when he's fighting someone like Ngannou, but he is. He hit him with some very big shots. He's felled big guys. He knocked out Mark Hunt. He's a very big hitter, and he could potentially still rock Ngannou. And he also had some success with the leg kicks. I feel he could do more leg kicks. I feel like he could work the calf kick as an example. The main reason being that when you're fighting a big puncher, it's good to weaken the legs. So if you can target that front leg, it's going to negate a bit of the power of Ngannou. What are your thoughts on his stand-up? Yeah, so we're just talking about the boxing. Let's jump on to Stipe's wrestling and grappling then. So as I asked you before, what does it take for someone to be a decent NCAA wrestler? What sort of experience would they have to get to that point?
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, there's obviously exceptions to the rule with, great athletes that start late and they just turn out amazing. But for the most part, you've got kids that joining, league wrestling teams when they're 3 to 5 years old, and they're wrestling all the way up. They're going through middle school. They're going through high school. During the off season, they're going to wrestling camps every year. They're usually going to freestyle tournaments, traveling around the States. So it's just from day one, it kind of becomes your life, and it's just what you do all the time.
So to be fair to say that Stipe's potentially had a world of wrestling. I mean, he's 38 years old. He might have been doing this for more than 30 years, from wrestling through to MMA wrestling, other grappling, etc., versus someone like Ngannou who doesn't have really a depth of experience in grappling. So that edge that he had in the last fight, it's unlikely that he's really going to be able to bridge much of that, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things that it doesn't matter. Even if Ngannou was strictly wrestling from the last fight to now, there's only so much space, only so much of that gap that he can make up. And yeah, he can make up some, but I know that he's not wrestling 24/7, and it's not likely that he's going to be able to make up a lot of ground on somebody with Stipe's experience.
And the second part I was thinking was, Bert, like as a wrestler, if someone's aggressively pushing forward, which is what Ngannou does, that lends them straight into that double leg or whatever, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially with the amount of power that he's throwing. He's putting his entire body weight into it, and Stipe so easily goes under those hooks, even the uppercuts when Ngannou's trying to lead with that jab uppercut. He so easily goes under that. If he just times it a little bit, and Ngannou's completely off balance to defend a shot at that point. So any of those big shots that he's thrown, it's just very dangerous for him because every single one of them opens him up to get taken down.
Yeah, true. And the third part about Stipe is his conditioning. Conditioning seems to not really be a problem for Stipe. He doesn't seem to have an issue with it. He just keeps going, keeps driving. He's a strong guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has He has like that extra engine inside of him to where everybody slows down a little bit, but there's certain guys that just keep working, and you can tell they're exhausted, they're tired, but he doesn't drop much after that point. And that's something Ngannou can't match from what I've seen.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, so what would you say are the keys to victory for Stipe coming up against such a big puncher like Ngannou?
Mm-hmm. So first off, like we're saying, is his conditioning. I think that's going to be huge for him. He's got to get through the first round and using head movement in order to tire Ngannou out. In their first fight, his head movement was amazing. Ngannou's throwing big shots and he gassed out really quickly. So using his movement, head movement, Ngannou's going to get tired, then makes the shots easier, taking him down, and then just doing the grind, beating on him. Because Ngannou, I don't think he's going to have an answer for the ground.
Yeah. I sort of also like the idea of a bit of distance, like using those leg kicks. I know it puts him in the danger zone. And like you said, he got tagged before by Ngannou when he's throwing leg kicks, but I still think there might be a point to use that just to slow down his power, maybe take away a little bit of stability on that lead leg. I've never seen him throw calf kicks, but if he had been practicing it, I think a low calf kick kind of can be done from out of the danger zone and actually take the balance a bit, or some other normal low leg kicks just to take a bit of power out. And if he does engage in the clinch, I think it'll help as well, just for the tiring factor. But as we talked before, it is a dangerous zone to be in with Ngannou in that early round. If you can get a break off the clinch, he can throw those big punches over the top and definitely cause some danger for Stipe. But if he can get in that clinch and work some body shots, I think it could also slow him down potentially.
Yeah, if I'm going like just reward versus potential risk, I think I would recommend staying out of the clinch at least in the first round. And that also with the kicks, I agree with the premise of what you're saying, but that did open him up to getting hit in their first fight. When he'd throw those kicks, he got caught a couple times. So I think as far as just safety measures go for the first round, I would avoid, I would just stay kind of on the outside, using the head movement, getting Ngannou tired, and using this to the advantage. And then off of that, the other big key to victory for Miocic is hit it using his angles and shooting. So once Ngannou gets tired, coming off on the angles and running shots and running through like he does run through his shots really well. And just making sure to avoid any of those shot counters that Ngannou's going to try to throw, which is probably, again, he's going to try to lead with that jab uppercut like he did last time and try to catch him coming in.
Yep. And then when we look at Francis Ngannou now, his record is 15-3, 11 KO wins. Obviously, we've all seen his incredible big knockouts. Most of his knockout wins come in the first round. He just KO'd Rosenstruck with a messy looking KO, throwing weird sort of punches, looking very amateur. But he has that hand of God that he can just destroy people with one punch. He's 34 years old, 4 years younger than Stipe, 259 pounds, 117 kilos. So that's a 10 kilo size advantage straight away. He's the same height. He's got 3 inches of reach at 83 inches. He kind of started MMA good on paper 8 years later than Stipe, but Stipe had also already been boxing, had already been wrestling. So he's a world apart, I would say, when it comes to skills of wrestling and boxing. He does seem elementary to me when you watch the way he fights. The way he gets KOs is storming forward, and he's just a gifted athlete. He punches so heavy, but he's not using footwork yet. He's not really using head movement. His guard isn't there. But he's smashed big guys, big names, smashed JDS, smashed Velasquez, destroyed Overeem, sent his head into the rafters. So he's super dangerous guy.
Yeah, I think that it seems to not matter that other guys are a lot more technically sound than him, because he just happens to land that one shot and it changes everything. And then they can't get their feet back under them if they happen to survive that shot. So he finds a way to win, even when I think he's not really technically the better fighter in a lot of the situations he's in.
100%. So his stand-up, talking about his stand-up straight away, his power is his main gift. He's got the ability to punch someone with both hands at pretty much any angle and KO them. And he only really needs one shot. So one good shot in the right place, and Stipe is going to be sleeping. His wrestling and grappling from their last fight was very ordinary. He's obviously a strong guy, but very, very ordinary. Thoughts on his grappling, Brent?
I mean, there's not really any grappling to even have thoughts on from what I've seen. You know, he got shot on. He didn't pressure the head. He didn't hip pressure. He didn't cross face up. He didn't drag the arms. There was really nothing. It was kind of a elementary. Knees went together. He reached over the body and fell on his butt. So from what I saw, there was no takedown defense whatsoever. It was a big guy that used his weight to try to just push a guy off. But, you know, Stipe just drives through and he's going to fall over. From what I saw, there just wasn't much to look at.
Yeah. And would you say, like, in that time frame of 3 years, how much do you think someone would be able to improve their wrestling or their grappling in that time?
I think if I mean, he's an athlete. He's a little bit awkward, but if he's strictly on takedown defense, I would assume that he can get a sprawl going. He can learn proper hand position and how to get the arms under, how to hip pressure in properly, how to move the head to make Stipe uncomfortable on his shots. I think that's doable, but I don't think it's doable to the thing with a wrestler at Stipe's caliber. He's going to shoot in, and if Ngannou does any of that, then Stipe's just going to reshoot second, third, and there's no way that Ngannou has the ability to stop those. So it almost seems like he needs to, rather than focus on that takedown defense, because I do think it's kind of a lost cause for him at this point.
Yeah,
he needs to try to counter and catch Stipe coming in.
Yep. As far as conditioning goes, I would say it's probably in the same boat. I don't think he's had the ring time since that fight to really, prove that his cardio is any better. And I think he's such a powerful type of athlete, explosive, that I think if he does explode in his first round, he's going to have a very difficult time continuing on to the later rounds. I don't think his cardio is going to be that much better just because he's had a few years. Even if he's trained exclusively in cardio, I still don't think he's going to bridge that gap between the two as far as being able to keep going for 5 rounds.
Yeah, that's one of the big unknowns. If he suddenly came in and he had a gas tank and he could go like he went in the beginning of the first round with them, then Stipe'd have some problems on his hands because, even if he doesn't have that takedown defense that he needs, if you have a guy with, cardio that can just keep go, it causes some problems. But I don't think Ngannou's, he's just so big and he throws so much into his shots. I don't see it as a realistic thing that he can do.
Yeah. So, Bert, let me ask you the question. Can Ngannou take out Stipe in the first round? Or Stipe did it before. Can he do it again? Can he take him into deeper waters and take him out or go to a decision? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think Stipe's going to take this one. I think Ngannou's going to gas out again. I think Stipe is more technical. I don't think Ngannou has quite enough fighter IQ. I'm sure he's gotten better. His fighter IQ, I'm sure, is a lot better than the first time he fought him. But I don't think he has what it takes. I think if he is going to get a victory, he needs to do similar to what he was trying to do with his uppercut. But instead of throwing that uppercut, which exposes his entire side of his body, so as he comes up, it's opening his whole side, which opens for the shot. He needs to time a knee or something, because he knows Stipe, every single time he pressured Stipe starts going back and then tries to shoot under the big shots. So he knows that it's coming. And if he can time that knee, that's much more realistic for him to get a victory over him than trying to play defensive wrestling and then get back to his feet. So, I think it's going to go into deeper waters. And I think Ngannou's going to end up getting tired and beaten up on the ground.
Yeah, I like to think that if you come up against a true technician, someone that's really mastered their craft in stand-up boxing and also wrestling, I like to think that will prevail, against someone who has just a knockout skill, maybe not quite the same skill level. And I'd really like to see Stipe take it out, and I think he will. If you look at their experience in the cage, their time in the cage, Ngannou, because he's taken a lot of people out and he's got lesser fights. His ring experience is well less than half of Stipe's. So I hope that combining that with his ring craft and his wrestling skill, that he can take him into the deep waters and either get the KO or get the points decision. What's your idea for the final result?
Yeah, for the final, I'd say I think Stipe might finish this one in the fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
So we've got our final decision is a Stipe in the fourth, or Stipe finish, or Stipe to a decision. Yeah, what were you about to say, Bert?
Yeah, I just think that he's going to put the pressure on more. He knows what to expect coming in. I think the things that he can change are more than what Ngannou can change. And I just don't think Ngannou's going to be able to handle it. He's going to be getting mopped up on the ground, I think, and Stipe is going to put the pressure on.
Yep, agreed. Cool. All right, thanks for your time, Bert. See you next time.
Problem.